Hey, what's up, friends? Ray with Doc at Timworks. How y'all doing? So today we're at the bandsaw and we're going to be making wood turning blanks. We're going to do bowl turning blanks and probably some spindle turning blanks. So make sure you guys stick around to the end, and we're going to do a variety of blanks. We'll probably do some rolling pins, spinning tops, honey dippers, that kind of stuff, in addition to bowl blanks and how I break down uh, logs that I've hauled off, green wood. So here we go. All right, so here I've got, as you can see, half a log. It's got a vine on it. This is sassafras. So what I do is I cut the pith out, cut the log in half. I already broke down the pith boards, the quarter sawn boards, but this is an example of what would come out. Okay, so this isn't exactly how it was, but you guys can get a rough idea. Because like I said, I already went through and attacked the pith and all the quarter sawn boards. And then you would, of course, have the other half log. So the quarter sawn board is this piece right here. And then, of course, you cut the pith out of it. And what I do is I just, as you can see, the pith is the source of cracking and instability in your green wood. Here's some more examples. And this is why we remove the pith. Okay. These boards like this is quarter sawn. The annual rings are vertical. This is very stable wood. This will make nice dishes, shallow bowls, or what I like to do on the thinner stock. This is a little bit too thick for it. But you can get nice spatulas or spoons, usually 2 per half of the quarter sawn board. But with it being thicker like this could become cocktail smokers, tea light candle holders, small bowls, whatever. But you know, your annual rings are vertical, so they're different from your other turning blanks. Now see, this one's a little bit thinner, so this might be a good candidate for, you know, you put the paddle end up here and taper it down this way, and then opposite this way, taper it down. You get 2 good sized spatulas out of that. So you don't want to throw that away. The pith, this is firewood. And then I've already cut out a couple of these blanks before I decided to stop what I was doing and film. So this is sassafras. It smells amazing. This is what they used to make sarsaparilla and root beers and stuff out of. It cuts and feels like a softwood, but it's hardwood. It's got leaves. It's got the weird little 3 lobes, but it's got a deep furrowed bark, and these might make, if I could get the bark to stick, cool live edge bowls. I like to do an easy, kind of jig-free type of bowl blank. I've got circles and discs that I've cut out. I just put a compass right there in the center point, traced a line around, and cut it out on my bandsaw. This is just thin, cheap plywood that I got at the discount area in Lowe's. And I've done it basically in 1/2-inch increments, you know, 13, 12 and a half, 12, whatever. And then I can just fit them on here. The reason why I use those templates is, if you were to try to put your dividers or your compass here and then trace a line, one, it's very uneven, but to go down here, you're making this longer, and then up here, you're shorter. So you'll be cutting ovals instead of circles, because to keep it level, you never touch the sloping ends downwards. And when you go like this, you're increasing the radius and the length of your circle. So you'll have oblong ovals. So we can't do it that way, right? Cutting it like this is far too dangerous, far too dangerous. So we can't do it that way. Your other option is to cut this again and make that flat, which is fine. That's fine if you want to turn a regular bowl, but I wanted the option for live edge, so we keep this on. Now see, if you cut this off flat, Then you can take your compass and your dividers here, draw your blank, and get to business, because this will be flat and it won't be rotated and bound up by the saw. But we don't have that option because we're trying to keep this live edge. So that's where these guys come in. Like I said, I have them in various sizes, and I just pick which one. Now, judging which size you can use off the top is it's rough. It's hard to see exactly. Oh man, look at this vine. Yeah, so I prefer to judge by what size circle I want to use on the bottom. And that will get me out to the edge of the wood. So it's 11.5, but by the time you get it round and turned in, it's probably going to be more like 10.5. Because even though we're out to the edge 11.5 and it's solid wood, it's only wood right here, and it quickly tapers in. So, but this is just a good starting point to get it cut into the round. That I know what size template to use. Now I go ahead and find, and then you also want to look. Okay, the bark is messed up over on this end. But we've got this knot here on this end. And sometimes you have to get a different perspective so you can line your discs up properly. And then, of course, the shop mallet that I just turned is in the house. So, there we go. Get this guy out of the way. And then, now, before your machine starts, it's best to just go ahead and take this down. That should clear. And then we'll lock it back up. Now it's going to get loud because this is a loud machine, and I'm going to turn on my dust extraction. The bandsaw can make a lot of noise when you're cutting, so hearing protection is always a good idea if possible. And now this can flop and move around and it'll still be fine. I like to stay off to this side, out of the line of fire of the blade itself, and it's more of a rotational push rather than push along. You're almost rotating and feeding it in, but you just use this as your guide. Really. So I misjudged that. This is what I talk about. It's more rotational. And I want to stay this side of the blade in case there's a catch or a slip up that my hand doesn't follow through into the blade. And if you get away, it doesn't matter. You know, the lathe is going to make things perfectly round. We don't need the bandsaw to make things perfectly round. This is just getting us in the ballpark so we can start out with a halfway balanced plant. Slow, smooth, easy feed. Not a race, not in a hurry. Making sure that we keep our hand out of that area. We try to stay back on this side. Now these I don't throw away. I actually will take these corners and I'll make charcoal out of these. So I save this and I'll cut this one more time here. This will become charcoal. If you're really frugal, you could, no, let's show the finished product. Okay, and so here's your bowl blank. Nice. Like I said, the wood, it's actually going to be probably in this area here of the thickness and the diameter of the bowl. You'll probably lose an inch or so. Because as you can see, right here the bark begins and right here the bark's still there. So you have to get that away. But that's a nice bowl blank. Okay, I've never personally done one of these bowls, but I watch Raffin do it all the time, so why not? Now you got kind of a wedge that you can turn a bowl out of right here if you want to. Or if you wanted a small diameter live edge, you could cut this off here. Cut this off here and kind of go that route. But it's not waste, you know. Yeah. Oh, kind of missed there. This would be an end grain bowl, so I don't know if I want to deal with that or not. But we'll throw it in the pile and we'll see how it dries and see how it behaves. Okay, and so we'll go one more time. Now, as you can see here, the chainsaw cuts were sloppy, so we need to cheat the template all the way this way. Again, that's about the right size. We'll get away from here a little bit so that we can cut that off, and it'll be a good bowl. But this is waste here, so when we go to set it, more like that, set our nail. This one looks a little more shallower, so I could lower this down some. And it's rotating, not pushing through, it's more rotating. But staying back over here on this side, not in line of fire of the blade. Every now and then when you over rotate, then you will have to push it forward, but you just get a feel for it as you go, and the more you do this, the corrections you need to make. there we have it. All right, get that noisy thing off. And so, I mean, you could tell that, you know, you never know what it's going to look like until you start turning it. This, if a little bit of this comes off, it'll be fine. But this sassafras smells amazing. It smells so good. It's like root beer in the shop. I would probably put this up here right below cherry and probably above walnut for the smell, the pleasant odor that you get from it. But I'll show you what I like to do with these bowl blanks. If I don't have time to turn them immediately, I'll just put a little bit of shrink wrap on it. Okay, and now this is just a little shrink wrap. I get this from making firewood bundles, and I buy it in packs of like 4 for 20 bucks off Amazon, something like that. I don't know. But now a lot of people will use anchor seal at this point, or Elmer's glue, or this or that, and it works. But I plan on getting to this as soon as possible, so I don't need to put all that gump on there. The anchor seal, when it hits your shop floor, it becomes a tripping hazard. It's really slick if you've got a concrete floor and you just put a bunch of wax shavings on there. So I will put the anchor seal on after the bowl has been roughed out, but not at this stage when it's a bowl blank. Sorry if you guys pick up the neighbor's chicken and dog, and there ain't nothing I can do about it. They're both kind of annoying, but I guess that's what you get for living in a community. So it's usually not this difficult, but I'm trying to get a camera angle which you guys can see what I'm doing. So, I mean, basically what you want is you want the end grain covered. That's the big deal. You want the end grain covered so that it doesn't stop the moisture loss. It makes it dry more evenly. It doesn't stop it. And it's forcing all the moisture to leave at the same time through the side grain and the bark rather than rapidly through the end grain. That's what you're trying to do. Okay, and some people worry about mold on these blanks when you use this wrap. I've never had an issue. Maybe I have. I don't know. But the wood can breathe. It's not sealed. Moisture can get out here. Moisture can get out here. If you get a layer of mold on here, it's just going to be turned away when you true it up anyways. So I guess you do get a little bit of mold or something maybe. It's hard to say. This blank's been sealed like this for 6 months maybe. This is white oak, so it was sopping wet. So there is a little bit of mold. I will do an experiment and probably turn this bowl really soon. But like I said, 6 months and it was sopping wet. I will turn this away and see how deep this actually is. So stay looking for an updated video on that. I'm curious to see myself. I think it may be one of those things, friends, where it's more species dependent, because this is sycamore that was sealed, cut at the same time, and it doesn't have the mold. As you can see, It's nice quarter sawn sycamore, and no, it doesn't have any of the mold, and it was sealed at the same exact time. So it may be species dependent, it may be moisture content dependent. It will require further research for science. White oak just likes to be a pain anyways, no matter what. All right, we're going to see if I can't get my fence hooked up and break down some spindle blanks. So I will get back to you guys here shortly. Okay, so I don't have a joiner, a table saw, any of that stuff. I basically have my bandsaw, my lathe, and a miter saw. So I'm kind of limited. I can't make perfect blanks. Like I've watched Sean Graham from Worth the Effort. He makes perfect blanks for his spinny tops and stuff. I don't have the equipment right now. So, and I really don't like buying lumber from other guys. I like to use my own stuff. But I have a local guy here that has a sawmill, and he gets all Michigan lumber from Tree Services. The Tree Services drop the logs off at his place. He mills it down and then sells it at a pretty decent price. So I can still go by my kind of code or my selling point to my customers that it is salvaged Michigan timbers, because it is. I know exactly where this guy's getting his wood from. If I had the resources, I would be doing the same exact thing as him. I would mill my own lumber and dry it, but I'm not there yet. Hopefully soon. So what I got is some 7/4 Siberian elm. It's 1.75 inches. So like I said, I don't have a joiner to joint this. I can only go off what his stuff is. So what I'm going to do is I'll just kind of fence it up like that, so it'll be one width of that, and so it will be as square as I can possibly get it. And we will cut these. It's a Siberian elm. It's pretty straight grained. It's not cut at the right angle, but I don't have a way to fix that. So we're just going to run with it. So it's square enough for me. It's square enough to make round, you know. That should be nice little honey dippers. This we'll keep around. So these are going to be honey dippers. These are 7 inches long. All right, friends, so there you have it. There's enough spindle turning blanks to last me quite a while. I don't get a whole lot of time to turn. I work full time, more than full time. It's always overtime. It's 60 hours a week usually. But these tops and honey dippers have been my best sellers at the local craft show. So if it works, might as well do it. And you know, I've been selling these honey dippers 10 bucks a piece and the tops 5 bucks a piece. But at that going rate, that's probably 200 bucks sitting there. So, or more. So, you know, from a couple of boards that I bought for maybe 20 bucks total. So, it's fun. I like these honey dippers a lot. The tops have been getting fun. I'd like to get a better setup where I could do these a little bit better, because I'm not, you know, these aren't square like Sean does them. So I don't know. I can see if they'll work in there. I'll do that next. But anyways, friends, thanks for following me along. The bandsaw is potentially one of the most dangerous tools in your shop. I almost lost my thumb due to I had a cheap one and I was inexperienced. It was late in the day. I was pushing it. The blade was dull, and I was standing like this with my ball blank and went into it. I sliced through this finger here and then cut to the bone through this thumbnail and out the side. I cut through the bone twice. Like I said, I'm lucky to have my thumb still. This is potentially a dangerous tool. The best thing I could say is get proper training on it. Maybe go to a bandsaw clinic. But it's also a very useful tool. As you can see, it can make plenty of turning blanks. You know, this is just a stock Rikon 10-325 14-inch bandsaw. But it cuts massive bowl blanks no problem, as long as it can fit on the table. And this is like a 12-inch throat, and I mean, it's pretty good. And I've never pushed it that high, because who wants to turn a 12-inch deep bowl? Really? You know? But I've cut up to here, you know, 8-inch deep bowl blanks before on it, and it turned through it no problem. All the power in the world if you have a sharp blade and you adjust it properly. I'm not going to tell you guys how to adjust it. There's so many people that are better at that than me. All you have to do is YouTube Alex Snodgrass, and he's got bandsaw groups on Facebook. He's sponsored by Carter Manufacturing, Powermatic. I mean, the guy's, you know, a legend in bandsaw work. Watch his videos, and he will get you dialed up and running. No problem. I bought this used off Marketplace. I haven't used it in a while. My bearings just came in. The guy kind of rode it hard. But now it's in my hands, and I'm trying to baby it a little bit better. And it's nice. Like I said, these... I'll have a video coming out real soon of me doing these honey dippers and spinny tops. We'll see how this Siberian elm can be a little bit fuzzy, but this hard maple should be fine. I'm kind of excited to see how well they turn out. All right, thanks, friends. I'll catch you next time.